Hola, señores and señoritas. Welcome to Safari Mack, and welcome to Colombia. Whoa, wait, time out. What are we doing in Colombia? I thought we were in Africa. We are journeying in Africa. However, last weekend, I introduced you to one of our next animals on our African journey, the hippopotamus. I know, it must be a shock, right? Hippos? In Colombia? Well, I'm afraid so. Welcome to a Safari Mack special, where we're going to be talking today about a group of hippos that have made their home in an area that they just don't seem to belong in, and really shouldn't have even been brought there in the first place. But before we begin, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page for content on conservation, and if you have a question about animals, or if there's an animal that you want me to do in the future, you just have to send me an email, which you will always find the link to down in my description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. Now, to understand this whole entire story, we kind of need to go back to the beginning. In Colombia. For starters, we probably are asking, how did they even get here? It's all because of this guy, Pablo Escobar, drug lord, one of the richest people ever, who, thanks to all of his drug money, was actually able to purchase for himself and bring to on his own private land a little private zoo. When the drug lord finally met his death in 1993, all the animals that were living at this little zoo were immediately confiscated. Well, almost all the animals. 4 hippos called this original little place home, but the people that were removing the animals, they did not really have the necessary equipment or even the means to be able to get them out of there. So, they let them go. They let them live. And as a result, they multiplied fast. So, as we know from invasive species, which, by the way, if you would like to see more invasive species, I invite you to go back to Australia for a minute and take a look at my video there, where you can see all the animals that the land down under has to deal with. But here in Colombia, these guys are problematic. They really are a danger, not just to the people, but they're pushing out many different animals that already call Colombia home, including the West Indian manatee, the neotropic otters, spectacled caimans, and different kinds of turtles that call the place home and are able to find their own food. But thanks to the hippos, it's not looking too good. Another major problem that they cause, because of their messy behavior, and when I say messy, I mean like in going to the bathroom, where they have a little habit of swishing their tails back and forth and releasing so much waste, it causes cyanobacteria, which is also responsible for the blue algae blooms that occur right now. So all that algae, that's just from the cyanobacteria, which also in turn causes fish kills. And we know how much fun that is cleaning up. Not really. Now, to look on a little bit of a positive note, which is kind of hard, some ecologists actually, or scientists that study the environment, some are looking at some of the more positive ways that they look at hippos. That whole tail thing that I just mentioned about how they go to the bathroom, that does seem to spread nutrients and such, but those studies, that was done in their native Africa, not quite in Colombia. So that's a little problematic. Another thing that the ecologists see as a positive light for hippos in Colombia is, could they in a sense be in a way Pleistocene rewilding? If you're not familiar with it, basically think of some of the prehistoric animals like the mammoths or the saber-tooths or other animals that once prowled different parts of the world. There are ideas about bringing some animals that are somewhat similar, like let's just say bringing a herd of releasing elephants into North America's wild to refill somewhat of an ecological niche similar to that to the mammoth and mastodon. Now, South America, millions of years ago, had a kind of huge mega herbivore mammal called Toxodon that was originally discovered by Charles Darwin during his expedition in South America, where he identified the skull thinking that it was aquatic, like the dugong or manatee, but it may have seemed to have filled somewhat of a niche similar to the hippos today. However, these Pleistocene rewildings, they are a bit controversial. Personally, I do not know where I stand on the whole idea and what it could do. I mean, it would be interesting, but prehistoric animals in nature have their history and their plan, and they follow that plan. So I mean, some animals had their time and nature selected them for extinction. So to kind of reintroduce some parts, it's good where we killed off animals, but like bringing extinct animals back to do that, or fighting a close living cousin, that's a little iffy in my opinion. Now, I'm sure the biggest question that we're all thinking of, because hippos are here in Colombia, what do we do? Now, in 2009, one hippo that was named Pepe was actually killed by by hunters with authorization from the local authorities. However, when this photo was leaked onto the internet, unexpectedly, there was a huge public outcry. The people see these animals as celebrities, even a valuable bit of the tourist industry. People want to come and see the hippos there. To me, tiny bit crazy. But I get it. I completely understand. They need help. They need to make a living. But is this the right way to do it? Because the population has really increased, and people are trying to look at other ways on how to manage these animals. Some believe that now, and it's really been unproven, and it's also been kind of expensive. One time, in 2017, one male hippo was actually captured and then re-released after being fixed or castrated. However, that cost $50,000. Where do you see the money in that? Not exactly, I don't know. So now I would like to ask for all of you, as we end today's special, for your own opinion. Do you think that these guys should be hunted out of this ecosystem and eradicate them before they cause any more damage? Or should they be treated as celebrities and left to multiply in a land that they don't belong in? Personally, I think that they do need to be eradicated because it just doesn't fit. They just don't, despite being able to adapt, they just don't seem to belong there. But I really do want to hear your thoughts and your opinions down in the comment section below. Tell your friends and let me hear from you. But until this coming Saturday with part 2 of the Hippo, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.